Did you record it on the TV? I was so happy. I thought it was tough for.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet were once Hollywood's dream couple, a picture of love, family, and shared values, but after their highly publicized split, fans were left wondering what went wrong. Now Jason Momoa is finally breaking his silence, revealing emotional insights into the challenges that led to their separation, and how he's moving forward. What does this mean for his family, career, and personal journey, and why is it over for Lisa Bonet? Let's find out. Identity struggles. Before Jason Momoa became the towering Hollywood figure we know today, his life was a journey of contrast, resilience, and an enduring search for identity. Born Joseph Jason Namaka Momoa on August 1, 1979 in Honolulu, Hawaii, Jason carried the weight of a rich cultural heritage, his father's native Hawaiian roots intertwined with his mother's German, Irish, and Paeon ancestry, shaping a unique identity that was both a source of pride and, at times, a challenge. After his parents divorced when he was an infant, Jason moved with his mother to Norwalk, Iowa, a far cry from the tropical warmth of Hawaii. In small-town Iowa, Jason was unmistakably different, with his sun-kissed skin and a cultural background that few could relate to. He often felt like an outsider, yet these early experiences shaped his resilience and gave him a deep appreciation for belonging, something he would later cherish in his relationship with Lisa Bonet, whose own upbringing in a mixed heritage household mirrored his in many ways. Jason spent summers with his father in Hawaii, reconnecting with the land and traditions that always felt like home. These visits left a profound mark, giving him a sense of spiritual grounding that would guide him through the challenges of fame and family life. This duality between the rugged independence of Iowa and the soulful connection to Hawaii created a man who was as introspective as he was adventurous. That complexity made him stand out. Even as a teenager, Jason had an undeniable presence, tall, athletic, and magnetic, but he was more than just a physical force. Encouraged by his mother, a painter, Jason explored his artistic side, nurturing a love for storytelling and expression that would later resonate deeply with Lisa, who shared a similar artistic and introspective nature. When Jason met Lisa Bonet years later, it was as if the threads of their separate yet parallel journeys finally intertwined. Her own upbringing had given her a similar understanding of navigating dual identities. Jason's journey to that point wasn't without struggle. After an unexpected break into acting on Baywatch Hawaii, he spent years grinding through Rawls and North Shore and Stargate Atlantis, carving out a space for himself in an industry that didn't always know what to do with someone so unapologetically unique. His defining moment came with his unforgettable audition for Game of Thrones, where his powerful performance of the Mari Haka landed him the role of K-Drogo. That role cemented his image as a fierce warrior, but it also brought new challenges, including TYP casting and misunderstandings about his depth as an actor. Yet as much as his career shaped him, it was his relationship with Lisa that profoundly changed his perspective on life. The woman who had been his childhood crush back when he was only 8 years old, watching her on The Cosby Show. Lisa Bonet, much like Jason Momoa, Lisa Bonet was never one to conform to expectations. Born Lisa Michelle Bonet on November 16, 1967 in San Francisco, her heritage African American on her father's side and Jewish American on her mother's shaped a complex identity that she would carry with quiet strength throughout her life. Raised primarily by her mother in the modest neighborhood of Rada, California, Lisa grew up balancing two cultural worlds. This duality instilled in her a deeply introspective nature and a commitment to authenticity, qualities that would resonate with Jason Momoa when their paths eventually crossed long before Jason entered her life. Lisa was already a star at 16. She burst into the national spotlight as departure from her sitcom image, but it also underscored Lisa's determination to chart her own course regardless of public opinion. Around the same time she met musician Lenny Kravitz. The two bonded over their shared experiences, navigating mixed-race identities and a mutual love for creative expression. They married on Lisa's 20th birthday and welcomed their daughter Zoe Kravitz in 1988. Though their marriage ended in 1993, Lisa and Lenny redefined what it meant to co-parent in Hollywood. Their enduring friendship and mutual respect created a loving blended family that would later include Jason Momoa. Remarkably, Lenny and Jason would develop their own unique bond, reflecting Lisa's ability to foster harmony among the people she loved. Lisa's career after The Cosby Show was marked by intentionality. She chose projects sparingly, prioritizing her pride, privacy, spiritual exploration, and above all, motherhood. For Lisa, life was never about chasing fame, it was about cultivating peace, authenticity, and meaningful connections. This perspective would profoundly influence Jason, who by the time they met in 2005 was a rising actor, still finding his place in Hollywood. When Jason first met Lisa, she represented everything he admired: strength, individuality, and a deep connection to her roots. For Lisa, Jason's earnestness, humility, and passion for life were a refreshing contrast to the superficiality of the entertainment industry. Despite their age difference and the differing stages of their careers, they shared a mutual understanding of what truly mattered: family, art, and the pursuit of a life rich in purpose. Unbeknownst to Lisa, the tall, athletic young man who shyly fawned over her upon first meeting had admired her since childhood. Soon they would join forces, weaving their stories and families together into a new chapter that would capture the attention of fans across the globe. Meeting at the Jazz Club and the blossoming romance. It was 2005 in a Los Angeles jazz club brimming with smoky ambience and late-night chatter. Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa happened to cross paths through mutual friends. Some say Lisa arrived wearing a signature bohemian ensemble. Others recalled Jason's newly dreaded hair, a style he had partially adopted because he'd always admired Lisa's own locks back when she sported a similar style. For Jason, everything about her was mesmerizing. In interviews, he recounted how when he was 8 years old he had watched Lisa as Denise Huxley on The Cosby Show and declared, "Mommy, I want that one." Now, nearly 2 decades later, here he was face to face with his lifelong crush. He tried to keep his composure, but inside he was bursting with excitement, what he described as fireworks going off in his heart. After they introduced themselves, the night wore on and the two connected so effortlessly that Lisa offered to drive him home. Along the way they stopped at an elite cafe, the legendary, now closed, 101 coffee shop in Hollywood, where Lisa ordered a Guinness and grits. Jason was positively smitten by her unexpected choice. This woman, older than him by about 12 years, exuded a laid-back confidence that stood out from the typical Hollywood sheen. For the remainder of the night they laughed, talked, and discovered a bond that went far beyond mere attraction. In the weeks and months that followed, Jason and Lisa were almost inseparable. Jason was still wrestling with sporadic acting gigs and uncertain career prospects, but his devotion to Lisa and the sense of stability and comfort she gave him was unwavering. On Lisa's end, she found in Jason a partner with an adventurous spirit and open heart, and a profound respect for nature and family. Their backgrounds intertwined seamlessly, both carrying the weight of mixed-race identities and forging their own creative paths in Hollywood. To outsiders, the spark between them might have seemed instantaneous, but it was tempered by shared goals and a mutual reverence for Dynamic Jason soon found his paternal instinct stronger than ever. Meanwhile, Lisa cherished every second with their children, weaving them seamlessly into her life. With Zoe Kravitz they began blending traditions, forging a household that celebrated multiple heritages with music, laughter, artistic pursuits, and the spiritual connections that guided them. Those early years were buoyed by love and excitement whenever they could. They included Lenny Kravitz, who by then had grown close to Jason. Remarkably, Lenny would later describe Jason as a brother. For this expanding family, the meaning of love stretched beyond boundaries, it seemed. They were embodying a new model for partners, spouses, and children could remain supportive and united from outsider to Aquaman, while Lisa Bonet had her own legacy in television and film. Jason's career took a momentous leap after he portrayed the imposing Dothraki warlord Krogo in Game of Thrones. From the moment his character roared onto screens, he drew attention for his fierce physical presence, yet behind the scenes he was facing the tension of being typecast and the unfair assumption that he spoke little to no English. Early on, directors and casting agents often overlooked Jason. They saw the massive muscles, the scar on his eyebrow, the result of a violent altercation in 2008, and the trademark long hair. Many didn't recognize his range or his strong comedic instincts. Some, as he's recounted in interviews, literally believe that the man behind Khal Drogo only spoke Dothraki after Game of Thrones roles were scarce. Iron Ically, in part because Khal Drogo had become such a breakthrough phenomenon. Fortunately, things took a turn for the better when visionary director Zack Snyder reached out to Jason about playing Aquaman in the DC Extended Universe. Snyder's perspective broke the mold. He saw Aquaman not as the typically blonde, clean-cut hero of the comics, but as a mighty Polynesian warrior with a distinct connection to the world's oceans. Suddenly, the same identity that made Jason feel like an outsider in Iowa and a typecast barbarian in Hollywood became his greatest advantage. Landing the role of Arthur Curry was not just a career move, but a cultural victory. Jason's native Hawaiian heritage and love of the ocean infused Aquaman with emotional depth, setting him apart from other DC heroes. The 2018 standalone Aquaman film became a box office sensation, crossing the $1 billion mark. Globally, fans laud Jason's portrayal, a modern superhero, rugged yet family-centered, reconnecting with his ancestry in an unprecedented way for a comic book adaptation. Of course, with heightened success came new obligations. Filming schedules for major motion pictures are rigorous, involving months of on-location shooting. Jason was whisked away to Australia, Canada, and beyond, sometimes for half a year at a time. Despite his thriving career, he wrestled with leaving his children and Lisa behind. He'd grown up with divorced parents, acutely aware of the instability that can bring a child. Above all, Jason prided himself on being a present father. Lisa, too, had strong feelings about family life, having navigated the demanding schedules and public glare since her teenage years. She advocated for a more stable home environment. The children, she believed, needed consistency. She'd been through the Hollywood hustle. Now she treasured a calmer lifestyle. In Angela's, tensions inevitably arose as Jason's career soared and the demands on him faced her own dualities. She famously recalled being treated like an outsider by both black and white classmates in high school. The pair's connection was rooted in this shared understanding. They both searched for acceptance, identity, and a spiritual ethos that transcended the superficial. Their union provided comfort over time, though the delicate balance they had established began to strain. Lisa preferred living a quiet life in Los Angeles, focusing on the children and nurturing her own creative pursuits under the radar. Jason, for his part, embraced the momentum of his film Career from Justice League to Aquaman. And beyond, the opportunities were too big to pass up. Increasingly, Jason found himself on location for extended periods. Lisa, who had once traveled the world as a young actress and endured the frantic life that came with it, was less enthused about uprooting. She had established a peaceful sanctuary in Los Angeles, one that she believed was ideal for their children's schooling, friendships, and sense of normally divergent priorities, as is often the case with busy couples, began to create distance while they agreed on the fundamental importance of family. The day-to-day logistics told a different story. Jason was away more often than he was at home, juggling back-to-back film projects and global press tours. Lisa was left to handle the brunt of domestic life, often with help from her extended circle, which included Lenny Kravitz and Zoe. Moreover, Lisa's own desire for creative freedom sometimes took a backseat to Jason's unstoppable career momentum. Whereas once they collaborated on smaller, passion-driven projects, now the demands of blockbusters overshadowed everything else. The financial rewards, of course, benefited the family, but at the cost of losing the simplicity they once treasured. Throughout this time, they remained fiercely dedicated to co-parenting the children. Lola and Noe Wolf, as well as Zoe, thrived in a family that tried to maintain closeness, even if physically separated for weeks or months at a time. And for many years, these challenges remained overshadowed by their remarkable love story and commitment to togetherness. However, all the dedication and compromise couldn't fully reconcile the disparate directions their lives were taking. Tensions escalated over living arrangements, child rearing philosophies, and how each partner envisioned the next chapter of life. In the end, this friction set the stage for the announcement that stunned fans. Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet were separating. The separation on January 12, 2022. Jason Momoa posted a since-deleted Instagram statement revealing that he and Lisa Bonet were parting ways in marriage. It came as a shock. A couple who had long represented unity, bohemian values, and blended family harmony was officially moving in different directions. They framed this decision as a necessary shift under the transformational times the entire world was experiencing. Their separation remained amicable, at least publicly. The statement underscored their continued devotion to their children and their desire to handle things with dignity and honesty. But those close to the family knew that the separation was not abrupt. It was the culmination of years spent grappling with conflicting schedules and priorities. Their final divorce was granted in January 2024, effectively closing the marriage chapter, though their deeper bond as co-parents remained. Shortly after the announcement, rumors swirled. Were they reconciling? Was the separation just a break? Jason's presence at events supporting Zoe Kravitz or sightings of him delivering a Christmas tree to Lisa's home fueled chatter that they were mending fences, but in reality, as Jason clarified later, we're not back together, we're family. The difference was subtle yet definitive. A wave of children. Jason stayed involved in Lisa's day-to-day life, particularly through acts of service like helping around her home or surprising the kids with trips. This delicate balance of separation yet unity sparked curiosity around the world. How could two people love each other so deeply and still decide to let the marriage go? That question, though, belongs solely to them, shaped by private complexities hidden from public view. Nonetheless, fans yearned for insight, for that moment when Jason would finally speak candidly, pulling back the curtain on his heartbreak, revelations, and a future path he envisioned for himself and his family. The emotional moment. Jason Momoa finally breaks silence. Months passed without any direct, extensive commentary from Jason Momoa regarding the split. Social media watchers and entertainment outlets latched on to every subtle hint, every word he uttered in interviews, trying to parse out how he truly felt, but for a long time he remained subdued, focusing on new film roles such as his portrayal of the villain Dante Reyes in Fast X and continuing his activism related to environmental causes. Then came the emotional moment fans had been anticipating, a heartfelt interview in which Jason Momoa finally broke his silence about the divorce from Lisa Bonet. When asked about the separation, he paused for a moment before speaking with evident sincerity. It wasn't easy, he began, his voice soft but steady. We tried, we really did. There was so much love between us, and still is, but sometimes life takes you in different directions. It wasn't something we rushed into, but it was something we both knew had to happen. He spoke about the challenges of raising their children under the public eye and the immense respect he still holds for Lisa. He emphasized that their shared life was built on love and mutual respect, and that the bond they created aided not only as a family but in the life lessons they learned together would always be cherished. During this emotional interview, Jason also shared how fatherhood and cultural heritage continued to shape him. He stressed how the values inherited from his Hawaiian roots, stewardship of family, respect for tradition, and abiding love for the environment, would guide him in co-parenting and forging his next steps. Repeatedly he spoke of gratitude for Lisa's influence on him, for the life lessons they learned together, and for the strong foundation they built for the children. This was a deeply personal moment for Jason. Though the separation was painful, it was also an opportunity for reflection, healing, and growth. His words underscored a commitment to continue nurturing a healthy relationship with Lisa, one rooted in respect, understanding, and the shared responsibility of raising their children. So as Jason emotional truth emerges, which part of his story resonates with you most? Subscribe for more. Share your thoughts below, and we'll catch you in the next one.